Greetings and God bless. I was just listening to Mike Adams' latest uh, discussion of the situations that have been going on with female to male people who are transitioning. And I was thinking about this too. So, in the early 2000s, and maybe it was in the late 90s, there was this term called roid rage. So, guys who are into working out and are trying to build muscle, I think it was. So they would take extra testosterone. Um, and um, I'm like, what? Where? How did the word roid uh, come to be the term? I can't remember. But uh, it was known that guys who were, oh, it was called because of steroids. So they were taking steroids. So you know how in the Olympics people would be tested for steroids because steroids, are this superhuman kind of a thing. It's this powerful medicine or tool or hormone or something like that. So steroids and taking testosterone are known to cause reactions, psychological, behavioral disruption in people. And it's known to make men more aggressive, taking steroids and testosterone. So imagine a young woman is now having major amounts of this powerful substance in her body. Now, guys are brought up differently. Guys are treated differently, and I think that's partly maybe to control the testosterone, this testosterone human. And women are brought up differently because we've got the estrogen thing going on. And I mean, I'm just speculating, but so when a woman who's been or a girl has been brought up in with a female culture or whatever, and then she's flooded with testosterone, steroids, I don't know, whatever else. Um, that's very powerful. I mean, now women who have a period already are dealing with major psychological, behavioral stresses, unmanageable, overwhelming sensations. And so, who knows if some of these people who are transitioning didn't already have serious hormone imbalances in the first place that is just causing all this mayhem, and then that's not treated, and then they add on some testosterone. What is going on here? Now, I've known of people like in the 90s. I knew of people who did uh, get the operation, and they were closely evaluated, and it was very discouraged, and they had to go through heroic efforts in order to do so. And I've known guys who would dress up as women. And I think that people, like, our world is so stressful and abusive. I think some people are opting out of their biological gender because we're in such a toxic world. It's such an abusive world. And people are just, they're not, especially now, 2023, people do not have presence of mind. I have the darndest time trying to have presence of mind when I'm in a grocery store or walking on the sidewalk because there's just so much chaos. And I think it's all the EMFs too and blue light. Um, like there's something going on because uh, it's just like it's very difficult to function. Uh, unless I'm like uh, in my little hidey hole. So, so I think folks need to take that into consideration. I think folks need to um, take care of people who are doing a transition. Like they need to have their hormones looked at, their estrogen, progesterone, pregnenolone. Like if it's a woman, a biological woman, you got to get that set up right before you start adding in testosterone. Now, biblically, what God created is proper, is right. But people have to go through their own process. I believe that people are allowed to make terrible mistakes because God wants you to learn. Like, God wants you to have free will. So if you're going to do an abortion, or if you're going to change your gender or do bad things, like, God's there for you. He's waiting. He's just waiting, and he's there. He's not sitting there going, "Oh, bad, bad." He's like, "Oh, please, my child, don't do this." So I think people they've got to go. Some people just really need to go through a nightmare, and we who don't feel that need are an anchor, while some people are going crazy, you know? And people are so self-centered in 2023 right now. And folks are like, well, I shouldn't have to, slow down my Instagram life, my $1 million appearance lifestyle. And maybe I'm mistaken, but I think if you're pro sex change and stuff, and you have friends who are doing it, they need to do this properly. They need to make sure, like, number one, you have to make sure you're healthy. You have to make sure you don't have any latent chronic infections like Lyme disease, because that's going to also affect your brain. It's going to affect how your body metabolizes hormones. So you have to make sure you're healthy. You have to make sure that you don't have any lingering chronic illness that's not like an infection. Make sure there's no concussion, because any kind of injury or infection or severe depletion, what's the word, like disability, that's going to be exacerbated when you add a powerful hormone into the mix. So, and I'm speaking primarily for women, because women, girls and women, I mean, guys are complex too, but women's hormones are a mystery. I mean, well, I shouldn't say they're a mystery, but they're very complicated. And even biological women who identify as female are not getting proper care, even when they're trying to do fertility treatment or trying to get help about menopause and stuff like that. Like, the medical system could care less about biological women's hormones and health unless it suits their agenda. So before you do some type of transition, make sure that you're starting off with balanced female hormones, and that you don't have any latent infections, whether it's Lyme or dental infections or encephalopathy or something like that. And make sure you don't have any, residual history from a concussion or anything like that. And make sure you don't have any severe nutrient depletion. I don't know I would imagine testosterone, for a woman to start taking testosterone, that probably uses up a lot of vitamins and minerals, because your body's like, ooh, got to figure this out, process this. Is this a toxin? So I wonder if there's like brain inflammation, brain swelling from women taking testosterone, and maybe they're taking more than they should. Maybe the dose is not proper. I mean, because doctors aren't caring about proper anything. It is once in a great while there's somebody who's going to be testing you, doing a differential diagnosis. But anybody in the field watching me will know that that's not happening. Anybody watching me, about to get defensive and complain, is going to know that insurance is not going to cover them thinking. What insurance wants is diagnosis, get them out. 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Especially for fine tuning stuff like this, for fine tuning behavior. Because what the doctor is going to say is, oh, let's take you to a psychologist who's going to put you on Ritalin or something like that. They just want to give you pop you pills, pop, 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 pills, pills, pills. Injections, surgery. That's all they want. They're not here to actually heal your soul, heal your psyche, heal your body. They're not here. Medicine is not here to optimize your well being. And, you have a right to figure it out for yourself. I know that's the way I am. I know I need to go and make my mistakes and, and have the experience. So I support people having the experience. And the only way to do it is sensibly, scientifically, with the information that we have right now. And we do know, just like women who are trying to transition need to have an endocrinologist, need to have a gynecologist that are looking at all of their gland numbers and, just like, how is everything? And I don't mean how is everything in this factory farm medical model slow kill thing. Like, if somebody's doing heroic procedure like sex change, like changing genders, taking testosterone, there's probably some differential diagnosis, like some sort of something that needs to be looked out for. Because, if you're planting a garden or taking out a garden or building a clock or, building a table, like there's weird, quirky things in every new endeavor that you have to look out for, that you have to plan for, that you have to adjust for. And these are human beings. These young girls, these young women are human beings. They're not just garbage people that you just throw away, that you just incite to suicide. You know, so, and of course, that's the whole desire is like medicine is satanic. It wants patients to suffer and cause harm and kill each other, kill themselves. And I know there's people. There's people who I've known who have been in the medical industry, but they're nice socially, and maybe they do have a heart. Of course, I know some that do, but I think there's also this selfishness, and that there's this subconscious, like like background, like sacrifices have to be made, and as long as it's not me. And that's what's been going on. That's what goes on with so many things. So anyway, if you really care about somebody who's going to do a transition, they need to have a gynecologist who's looking at their labs. They need an endocrinologist. They need an infectious diseases doc. They need to get a serious whole body overview, because I'm wondering if part of what's going on is the body's dysregulated, and they're thinking that maybe a new, like this other affect will help. And maybe like testosterone did help them initially, but their body maybe becomes too tolerant, or doesn't tolerate it after a while. And maybe the brain begins to deteriorate with the drugs of sex change. So if you really care about your friend, or if it's you, like, take care of yourself. Like, don't make this like an elaborate suicide. Like, you don't need to chop up yourself and inject yourself with all sorts of stuff in order to kill yourself. And 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 if you're feeling like you have to take such drastic efforts, okay, do that, but also get support. Like, look for genuine, sincere support. And you're probably not going to find it in the alphabet community. But you need to look. You need to get some answers. You deserve some answers. You deserve somebody to hear you. And with such a big thing, I really encourage you to ask for help. And at the very least, maybe find a church that can be supportive, and see if they might have suggestions of who might be able to offer help. Also, are people who are doing this transition, are they addicted to any kind of drugs? And is that drug altering their decision making, or alcohol, or whatever? So, and if that's the case, then maybe folks need to do drug rehab before they proceed forward with a sex change operation. So, those are my thoughts. And God help us all. Like, this existence is painful. It's hard. It's seems kind of hopeless. So I understand people wanting to do something, and there's so much support for people to get a sex change. It's like, it's the one easy thing, right? So, but once it's all done, you're still going to be the exact same person that started, was there at the beginning, and you're just going to be in much more pain, like physical pain, and you're going to have all sorts of weird chemicals running through your blood and your brain. And from what I sense, you're going to be worse off, and you're not going to have support. Like, people are going to be like, why aren't you happy? You should be happy now. Because people's interest is short-lived. People's attention span is short. So, when somebody's like an Olympic athlete, they get the support until the Olympics, then they win the gold medal or they don't. And then people are like, so how about the Mets? Do you want to have pizza or hot dogs? Like, people don't care. And I think that this sex change thing and this alphabet thing is a way to get attention. But it's a hollow attention. It's a hollow cause. So find the real issue. Like, do you have a hole in your heart? Are you looking for God? Do you want to be loved? Do you want to love somebody? Do you want to learn how to love? Do you want to learn how to love God? Do you want to understand the universe, the meaning of life? Or do you want to be an adult, or be able to be assertive, or I'm not sure. Like, I don't know, like, do you want to have healthy boundaries? Do you want to not be treated so harshly like men are? Because I'm listening to this audiobook about doing difficult things, and to hear how men are treated, like in the military or whatever, it seems pretty abusive. Like, in sports, it seems like psychotic. So if guys are kind of like browbeaten and whatnot, like, I certainly couldn't handle it. So I'm wondering if some guys are like, enough of this. I'm going to go into women's sports because they're not browbeating us, because women would break down and cry. And so then it's like piece of cake. I'm not saying that guys should do that, and it's totally evil for a man to steal women's medals and all that. And I hope that everything is going to be invalidated very soon, because it's not fair. Guys are stronger, but I can see somebody kind of having a breakdown, or somebody just because this world is an evil world, but we're not going to be able to fix it. Only God can fix, the situation. So it's hard, I know, but try to find the real source of your issue, or desire or problem. Is it really just appearances? Is it really just hormones that's the problem, or is it something else? Is it something bad that happened when you were a child? Like, or is it a hollow sense of yourself in that you don't really have anything but this appearance, this social justice cause? Do you need to find your soul? Do you not have a soul? And you're like, well, everybody likes this topic, so I'm going to focus on this topic. And, our culture right now is really vapid. So, and we've been atomized. We don't really know how to relate. We don't have the tolerance, the emotional strength to relate for any prolonged amount of time as friends and family. So, yeah, it's a tough time to be struggling emotionally, spiritually. But there might be some little solutions that will be a worthwhile investment in the rest of your life, rather than irreversibly altering your body and being in pain for the rest of your life. So I pray God helps everybody who's being brainwashed to alter themselves in this tragic way. And I pray for those around them, because this is people are being made into loose cannons. And we're not really prepared for this. Well, thank you for watching. God bless.